How are you, folks? Enzo DiCostanzo podcast, and we've changed software today. We're moving to the Zoom software for this particular meeting, and we're still struggling with the camera a little bit. So you're not going to see me today, but we'll go over the assignment, the midterm assignment for the undergraduates and for the graduate students. I think it's a good. The Bill Gates assignment is a good assignment. So we'll also go over that for you guys. So let's just start sharing right away. So share the screen, and we'll hit it from there. Okay, so here we are. Let's look at the assignment first. Let's look here. I don't know what this is, and folks, I apologize for the little bumpiness of the start here with this. Actually, we're here. So yeah, so for the undergraduates, this is like your midterm. For the graduate students, this is it counts a little bit less for the graduate because you guys should be able to do some of this stuff. So really, for the 622 section, this is I'm testing your economic skill, your finance skill, and your accounting skill. So you're kind of getting tested across the board with all of that. Okay. So for the undergraduates, I know you're concerned about setting it up and the cover page and all these other kinds of things. These 4 questions correspond to the Wall Street Journal articles on Bill Gates and his foundation and how he manages his money and those kinds of things. Okay, that's really the Bill Gates questions are pretty much that. So yeah, just sort of clicking through this. Actually, right here, if you look at this, it says reading list. This is the answer to question number. I don't know if it's the answer, but it says there's 8 trends of computer science that Bill Gates judged and posted it to be important for the future technology. List the areas and describe some developments in the areas as they impact all of us. This response should be a good half page in length. You should be looking at, you should be looking at this and figuring out how these 8 areas in your lifetime, because if this meeting was about 2005, and that's about when you guys, most of you guys were born around that 01, maybe a little bit, had a little awareness, I guess, at the time, but still, you guys were pretty young when all this sort of happened. But computing trends, education, language mapping, video games, speech, security, office, those are the areas, but you have to expand it. You have to do a couple sentences, and it's not just listing what's here. It's looking at these 8 areas, and you have to do that research on your own, or just ask yourself, if you're in a job interview or talking to people, hey, how is speech recognition or security, or what does your office look like with all the technology? Now, different schools have different opinions on how much technology should be used in the classroom, and some places want to go backwards, and some places don't. Like when I was NJT in the 80s, forever ago, in the 80s, they had classes on television, on calculus and physics on television. So certainly, this medium is been, theorized for quite a while. I don't know. Is it a different student these days? I don't know. I see a lot of very motivated people across many universities and across many environments. I can't sit there and say, oh, well, people are less motivated today. I really, it's hard to see that. But certainly education, it says make recommendations how Microsoft's core products can be better address the education market. Certainly bandwidth and video capability and the cameras and, all these different things, having this stuff, ready and capable for, a lot of people in the world using it is certainly a big, a big piece of the puzzle. It says mapping virtual Earth. Now, again, you have to realize when this stuff was thought about, and when these sort of, what happens is Microsoft really sort of operates like a university, like a very big research entity where putting money and engineers and enabling some kind of a product that happens. That's the lifeblood. Microsoft can't go backwards. Apple can't go backwards. Twitter, whatever. You could fill in the technology company. Going backwards is not gonna help those companies survive or become any more relevant. Microsoft dramatically changed how it operates. Dramatically changed how it operates. Okay, and that was a big, thing that happened in Microsoft. Okay, the way it operates is, or what was important to it, dramatically moved along, and that's always something to keep in mind. So if it's not the disk operating system it was in the 80s, it certainly isn't. Video games. A friend of mine, her son, sits in his living room and plays basketball with his buddies in Newark. So those kinds of things, those kinds of examples. Security. There's the Home Depot security cameras, Walmart security cameras. I don't know, people breaking into cars or whatever it might be. Certainly, the office environment is dramatically changed. Just even the use of Excel. I was at Value Line not that long ago, and there were people there who wanted nothing to do with it. But that's not a business. Value Line is, you wouldn't want to model what you do after the way Value Line is run then or now. Okay, that was a tremendous idea of a company 100 years ago, and it just sort of hung around because the name, it was the right name. Value Line is, that's the people say, well, we want that. We're all, and it's good. It's a good product. Let's not say it's not. We're not saying it's enough. Value Line is gives stock research on Microsoft and IBM and whatever. Fill in the General Electric. You could fill in the company, Apple, the more modern companies, whatever the S&P 500 covers. And then I think they were in the advice business for a while, and that's sort of, I don't know, whatever happened with that. But it was very stiff when I was there. It was very, very stiff. And you need, I'm an entrepreneur, and to go out to the world, we have a small team of people to go out and find opportunities and do different things. And, I'm lucky that I work in that environment. But like I said, but you want to go through these and determine, how this is now. But the graduate students maybe have a little more of a perspective. Maybe the graduate students, maybe you guys were a little bit older in the mid 2000s, so you might remember this. I remember when the internet all of a sudden was a big deal. I remember when we didn't have an internet. I do remember there were no cell phones. There were cell phones. Remember the Miami Vice in the 80s? They had the big phone. It was a very big phone. It was like the size of I'm trying to think, a soda bottle, right? It was a big, huge, clunky thing that people were using for telephones in the cars, right? In the cars running around Miami on the television show. But this is the first. This is number one. So you have to expand on those. Okay, so we're looking at that. So that's number one. Number two, the three areas that the Bill and Melinda Gates, what they now that's the charitable arm of the company, and what do they look at? What do they invest in? So I have my outline notes here. So yeah, I started these sets of notes when we Microsoft Confidential. I'm not gonna lecture on 8 or 9 pages of Wall Street Journal article tonight, but certainly you should read this, and you should get a good idea about it yourselves. Yeah, Bill Gates has an assistant. The assistant goes through the strategy ideas of the company, of everybody. Everybody in the company who has different ideas for products, and he reviews them and then decides what he's going to put money behind. And really, folks, that's investing. You have to sit there. What's investing and what's speculating? You just you want to see behavior, price behavior. I'm not going to name professors or whatever, but I know there were some students working on something, and they were in my class after the other professor's class, and I know that I saw how they thought. They got and I'm not saying it's just St. Peter's or just NYU or just where, but they seem to have this misguided idea that they're just chasing a price. And there's people who do that. I'm not saying there's people who do that, but they're just chasing a price as opposed to chasing an idea or chasing an investment or really trying to understand a company. I take the very fundamental approach, but also understand arbitrage, and Warren Buffett understands arbitrage also. So if you read his life story, he doesn't eschew or push to the side, arbitrage opportunities at all, at all. Okay, so always keep that in mind. But here it says 2 months before Mr. Gates' February seclusion, his technical assistant Alex collects papers from every corner of Microsoft, culled what he thought Mr. Gates should be Mr. Gates' priorities in an open call for papers, and lets employees at any level reach the top with their ideas. And then Mr. Gates determines development money and engineering teams and things of that nature. Yeah, there's got to be open communication. Bill Gates doesn't sit there saying my way or no way. He doesn't. He does. That's why he's worth $100 billion. Okay, because he opens his mind up to what's going on, and that's the only way that I know. Okay, I don't know. And here I like this. It says Bill Gates rarely reads papers that says we're doomed if you don't give me 100 million, and then or we won't be doomed anymore if you fund my idea. That kind of a thing. That sort of ultimatum, which is never good. That's never good. That's never a good thing, ever. But there's a lot of good stuff in here. I could lecture how cell phones have developed, how software security, and still developing. Okay, it's not a minor thing. How software security is how it's existing right now. It's not what it needs to be. Some of the numbers in here. This is also another question from the assignment. That's the cover page. We're going to get to that in a second. Here, yeah. So, what are the areas that are invested? Also, Michael Larson invested how well his returns have been for Bill Gates's money. So when you're that rich, you have somebody managing your investments for you, which is very similar to what I do. So Michael Larson and I are very similar in terms of what we do. And his house, Bill Gates's house, he takes his capital and puts in a private investment firm that's not under the microscope of being publicly disclosed in a big company. Usually they have catchy names, Cascade Investment or whatever it might be. And at the time, this was the 82 billion. This was 2014. He was worth 82 billion. Your assignment was like 122 or 129 or whatever it was, taking that net worth and spending it. But if you look at the way this sort of unfolds, there's a $41 billion endowment. Here, and this is the answer to one of the other questions about what's being invested in: Ebola, poverty reduction, healthcare, education, some of the world's poorest regions, fighting Ebola in whatever parts of the world it sort of pops up in. Okay, and there's not millions, billions, tens of billions of dollars have been. These are the main answers: poverty reduction, healthcare, and education. Okay, and obviously that's any Jesuit, hopefully any Jesuit would agree with that, and any secular person would say, hey, we really need to. Everyone's got to be able to eat. Everyone's got to be educated. Everyone's got to get the shots that they have to get. That kind of thing. Okay, that was pretty much the answer. That I'm saying you dress that answer up a little bit. But those are the areas that the Bill Gates Foundation invests in. And then it says sum up his net worth. So you want to take what goes into the because he sold 40 billion worth of stock and invested some of it into the charitable foundation, but he still has tens of billions of dollars in real estate and private investments. And you, like I said, you just have to read through here. And folks, that's a real exercise. Okay, that's a real exercise to work like that. Okay, so certainly we'd like you to be able to do that. Okay, that's a very real exercise, and get some experience spending time with that. So yeah, and they're breaking this up. Some is Microsoft stock, and others are private investments, including the home, and then what was donated to the Gates Foundation, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. We're not going to go through his divorce or what's going on or who he talks to. Who there's 37 emails to somebody. I'll let you guys look at the current state of Bill Gates's life right now. But let me tell you something: body language, body language, body language. Read his body language, and you'll see sort of what you'll sort of see what's happening. It ain't good. It ain't good. So sometimes you have too much money and the path that you travel down while you're doing that may not be so great. But yeah, Cascade, Gates Foundation. And here's the other answer. It says, at compound annual return of about 11%. Warren Buffett would say, if you have big amounts of capital, it's very hard to do a lot or get big gains with big amounts of capital. You might be able to have a very impressive return with tens of millions or hundreds of millions of dollars, but it's hard to do that with 20 or 30 billion because you're rocking them. All of a sudden, you're creating a money supply is really what you're doing. And that's, you want to be careful doing that, but you're creating a money supply. And that ain't so great. So you gotta be aware of that. Okay. So yeah, I mean, those are some of the, and like I said, you should read through this and look through some of his real estate investments and how they again, a healthier, better educated world, and how they make investment decisions and how ideas get filtered into the company that become Microsoft, and what Bill Gates does outside of Microsoft. So there's all really good things here. And like I said, I didn't really intend to Mr. Larson's delivered since 95, compounded annual return about 11%, which is about 1% better than the S&P 500. And what Bill Gates' stake in Microsoft is. And like I said, if you do the things that I do, you'll be involved in private equity deals where you have to sort of pick through what's going on and try to figure it out. Again, education, fighting disease. So that's the philanthropic areas. So like I said, so you guys can go through this. He's buying farmland in California, railway companies, and there's more detail here. So you guys can sort of, pick through the, what's AutoNation, what's Republic Services. These are waste disposal companies. One's an automotive retailer based in Florida. So yeah, like I said, bond markets, so that's under the umbrella of his private investment portfolio, what those companies are. So as you list those, I mean, you could go into a little bit more detail with that if you want to. Okay, but those were, like I said, but that's just reading comprehension. So it's whatever, 5 or 10 pages or whatever it is. That's not too much. So that's those 4 questions. Okay. The other part of this, so, and this is separate. This came in class. The net worth that you're trying, not the 2014 number, although that would have been interesting because this is also 2014. But here or whatever, 2014, Bill Gates' number. But we took the current number, which is about 129 billion. And how would you spend that over 30 years with inflation at 3%? And investing funds at 6%. Okay, how would you do that, or how would you determine? Now, the initial model that I recall we used in class, very easily was just simply, and actually here's some of the answers here. We did this in class or something like this. You could have done, equals 129 just divided by 30. Right, that could have been your first model. And I remember I went around the class and asked people that question. You're spending about 4 billion because it's 4 billion, right? 100,000, but yeah. So if you just divide by 30, that's all you can spend. The idea of going through the work of figuring out how to do this, the work to go through how to figure out how to do the time value of money version of this is there's more spent because the idea of taking 129 billion, dividing by 30 years, and just spending, which, believe me, all of us, I think, would be very happy if we did that. So it would be fine. Yeah, that would be fine if we did something like that. But we want to use time value of money and figure out, the better way to sort of hit that. I was wondering what that did. Okay. The better way to hit that. And that's what we did here. And like I said, there's 2 videos on this that are out there. I'm not going to do it a third time. You're seeing some of the answers here. Obviously, if you look at this, it's answers. Okay. So this is the template. So also, you guys had the template from class. You had I fixed up the template for you guys right there. So what we'll do is we'll make the PDF of the cover page, the PDF of maybe some of your answers to some of the questions in the Word document, and then we'll PDF the Excel, and then we'll put it all together. And I'll show you but without giving you the answers. And I had somebody in class, and actually, I think it was in the 2 o'clock class, somebody came up to me and asked me at the end of all of this, you should always open these up when they cluster up like that. She got down here. She didn't get 0. She had like 21 or 8. But if you're dealing with 86 billion, and this is 21, I think you're pretty much going to be okay. But like I said, now when you do the real rates versus the nominal rates, you got to use the appropriate payments. You got to use the nominal payment amount, and you got to use the real rate payment amount, which is a little bit less. All right, there's again, that the real rate version, as I said in the videos, this takes into account inflation. And so, it's not really 6%. You're down to about half of that. If you take inflation into account, where that's going to eat away, your base year dollars, and then what that's going to, really what the spending would be, down the road. The 20, the 30-year down the road number is just this nominal amount. But this will only eventually only buy 6 billion worth instead of 9 billion worth, just based on inflation, which is really what that is, just based on 2022, what you would be able to buy in 2022. Okay. This is complicated, folks. There's no two ways about it. It's definitely complicated. Okay. How do we start all this? I think that's the real question you guys are asking here. How do you start all this? Here, I have a document here. Yeah, this is a couple years ago. Your cover page should just look like this: assignment, first name, last name, EC 102, the date, the fall 2023 or spring 2024. So make all those changes. Okay. So what we'll do is, yeah, and actually what I'm going to do, we're going to get rid of these other pages here. I'm going to leave them here for the time being. But here, let's do this. File, save as. Okay. This is the assignment, first name, last name. And this is spring 2023. So yeah, this is a while ago that we've used this. Last name. Yeah, you could put your last name, spring, whatever, the assignment, something like that. And you can put the course if you want in there, or those kinds of things. Okay, so we have something like that. All right, let's worry about the questions. Let's go to the questions. So the questions are here, and you've got to type in the answers. So we're going to take these, we're going to copy it, and then we're going to go to the spring one here. And what you can do, you can just drop them off in there. Yeah, because there's only, and the rest of them are, this is just gone. There's your, and again, you've obviously got to type, you got to type in, you got to type in your answers is what you need to do there. Okay, this is Times Roman. And here, I don't know why this should be Times Roman too. I don't know why it's not. Man, we kept the font size. Good. So we changed it. So yeah, whatever. We could just do, EC 102 and whatever. And this is going to be, 23. And this is spring. Okay. So you're there. You have questions. You could do you could put a little, we have a footnote in there. We have all that. So again, save as you go. So that's a good part of it right there. You have a cover page and you have the answers to your questions. Now, the next thing you want to do, and as I said to you guys, I was hoping you guys would sort of uncover how to do all this. You want to PDF this. And again, what I do, if I send stuff to attorneys, now you have to be careful and be aware. When you're sending a document to be edited, it needs to be an editable software. So that's like a Word document. When you're sending a document to be signed, you should send a PDF so someone can't alter it. And I'm telling you, we all wish that every attorney out there was, moral and ethical and all these other kinds of things, but that may not always be what's going on. Okay, so you've got to keep that in mind. Okay, you got to keep that in mind. So yeah, actually, this is the PDF of the previous. This we don't really need right now. Okay, so you have a cover page, you have your questions answered, and now it gets somewhat interesting. The next sort of piece of this is going into Excel and figuring that out. Okay, how to get those pages over here. And here actually, this is the spreadsheet that's online. You're going to click on the assignment tab, which is at the bottom here. Okay, so you're going to go to view, preview, normal. Yeah, like that, something like that. So what you do is this border, you're going to move this border here, and you're going to limit this to that page. This thing is going to be brought like that. So you have the nominal version here, and then you have the real, and we'll check this and we'll see how this, what these look like, these pages. So you want to save those borders. So what you've done is you've broken this up into 3 pages. You're going to select the whole thing here. You're going to save, and then you're going to file, save as PDF. You're going to have your selection, you're going to fit it to a single page, and that's it. You're going to make a conversion, and then you'll do page, whatever. Let's say page 3, assignment 1, spring 2023. Like that. And actually, we're going to copy that. And let's see what this looks like. Yeah, not the greatest, because you have to expand it, well, to 150 just to make it sort of look. And also, it's how you're typing it in. Also, I mean, you can keep hitting this until it's good, but you're making somebody, again, you don't know who you're sending these to, and their computer ability. Yeah, that's not what we wanted. This did all 3 somehow, which we didn't want that. See, it just put them all in there. I don't know how that happened, but that's not what we wanted. So let's go back to this. Yeah, I don't know why did it work like that. So save again like that, and we'll try it one more time. You know what? Maybe it's too close to that. Could be that too. Oh, selection. It's got to be selection. Fit, convert. That's it. We're going to overwrite that. There we go. I think we did the whole sheet by, yeah, there we go. See, a little bit better. I think we did sheet by accident instead of the selection. And now you're good. Because you can say to somebody, hey, increase to 150. I think that's reasonable. But it's not reasonable to say, hey, you should make that 400 so you can read it. Okay, you shouldn't do that. So all right, and then what you do, you come here to the initial page PDF. You're going to insert that page, and that's page 3. Get to the right files here. And there it is, page 3, assignment 1. And you're going to do it after the last page. It takes a few seconds for this to process. So just take a breather while it's happening. There you go. There you go. See, here's your cover page. Here's your page of questions that are answered. So you're ready to present this to Donald Trump or whoever, or Joe Biden. Believe me, not that different of a person. Don't ever think that those are distinctly different people. They're not. So, all right. So, and we'll do the other 2 pages. We'll do the other 2 pages just so you get a little more experience with this. So you're here with this file, save as. I want the selection, fit to the whole page. And this is now page 4. Okay, and again, here, you're going to insert from a file. And there's page 4 after the last page. Okay, so there, see? So you have the nominal cash flows, the initial computations. The question, the answers to your questions could be maybe 2 pages long. Okay, so there, but this is what the document needs to look like. Okay, so actually what I'm probably going to do, I'm going to post this for you guys on the Blackboard site. And let's just do the last one. Which is right there. And we'll do file, save as, selection, fit the thing to 1 page, and convert. And this is page 5. Okay. And there you go. And then save this. Okay, so list name, spring, whatever. There you go. Okay, and it's obviously got to fill this all in. Okay, but it's got this is what this is what it's got to look like. So yeah, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to post that for you guys. Okay, to Blackboard. So we'll do that and we get this back to normal. But like I said, there's video out there already where I really go through, how to do all this. I'm not going to just do it again. Okay, and I already flashed a little bit of answer for you guys here. So you already saw a little bit of answer here, what these numbers should look like. Okay, so this should be this one, this should be this, and then you got to create these the 30-year spending tables here. And the moral to the story is when you do that initial computation where you just divide and get 4 billion by 30 years, you could obviously spend a lot more if you take time value of money into account. Okay, that's really the point that we're trying to illustrate. And like I said, in terms of the other the questions here, all of this is just reading comprehension. Okay, this is just simply reading comprehension, and it's teaching you to get a document together where you can hand this to somebody and say, boom, this is what my investment ideas are. This is what I think we should how to solve this particular problem. Okay, but that's about what I wanted to explain to you guys. All right, so let me post this stuff to Blackboard. Okay, so you guys have the sample sheet here, which we want you guys to have this example. So I'm just going to shut this down for the moment, but it's right here, and I'll post that. Okay, so you guys can see it. Okay, all right, folks. Again, folks, I apologize for not being able to see me today, but what am I going to do? We've altered technology here a bit. Okay.